One thing that we're going to review today is fractions. So if you want to take those notes on the paper that you have. And the first thing that we're going to look at is how to multiply fractions. And hopefully this is just a review, but it's something that we need to know because as we start designing some of our designs for engineering, we're going to have to know how to go between fractions. So one thing that we're going to look at first is the multiplying. And so we're going to look at our first example. 2/3 multiplied five over 3. And so when it comes to multiplying fractions, we don't really need a common denominator. We just need to make sure that we multiply straight across. And as we multiply straight across, we just go 2 multiplied by 5, which is 10, and 3 multiplied by 3, it's just 9. And that is my answer. Cool. Any questions? Cool. And so for multiplying fractions, that's one of the ones that it's a little bit easier because all it requires is just for you to multiply straight across. But then when it comes to dividing fractions, then this is a little bit different. In this case, let's go with the same example, but instead of being multiplied, let's say this fraction is being divided by the other one. So what we want to remember at this point is that before we can do anything with the fractions, we want to copy dot flip. And what that means is we copy the first fraction and then we multiply the second one. Copy dot flip. And so from here, now we just have a multiplication of two fractions. So we do the same thing what we did before. We multiply straight across. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. And now I just need to simplify. They both have a number that is 3. That's the number that they have in common. And so what we have now is 2 over 5. Cool. So hopefully this works as a review. The last thing that we're going to look at today is just adding or subtracting. When it comes to adding and subtracting, just as a review, the first thing that we want to find is our LCD, lowest common denominator. So for example, if I had 2 over 3 plus 1/2, I need to find the number that they both have in common. And so the number that they both have in, well, the number that I could make them into the the same, which would be 6. The other way to also think about it is, think of it this way. I can multiply them, both of those, by this denominator over here. And I can multiply the other side by the other denominator. And that will always help me find my numbers. So I got 4 over 6 plus 3 over 6. So this is equal to, and now that we have the same denominator, I am pretty much done. So 7 over 6. Cool. So I want you to try the next one. Five over 7 minus 2 over 14. So give that one a try. Alright, so in this case we do the same thing as before. We're trying to see what their lowest common denominator is. One of the things that we can realize is that this 7 is the same thing as the 14. I can make it into a 14 if I multiply by 2. And so what I have now is 10 over 14 minus 2 over 14, which is just 8 over 14. The only thing is, this is something that we can still simplify. So we need to make sure we simplify it. My answer in this case is 4 over 7. Cool.